Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I'm going to be showing you the easiest way to pass your life insurance exam on the first try. I have with me here Justin Vom Eigen, who owns a life insurance study course business and has a 90% pass rate of people that have gone through his exam prep. Not only that, but he's also helped thousands of people pass their life insurance exam. So I brought him onto the channel to give you guys some game. Justin, welcome on.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Tim. Thank you so much for the introduction. I appreciate being on this channel. Been watching you grow for the last few years. It's been pretty cool. Ever since you started the company. I mean, I was one of the first people back in the day that we connected with for YouTube stuff, and we had when we were both kind of pretty new and getting going in the industry. So, yep, we
100%.
have I now have a insurance pre-licensed education course company. The goal is to get more people finishing and passing their insurance exams than ever before, and we are well on our way to doing that with over 10,000 people who have actually gone through the course and passed.
Love it, man. That's a killer number. That is a lot of agents. So cool for the people watching at home. Maybe they're studying for the exam. Maybe they're just starting. What are the best tips, or what's the best way to pass the exam on the first try?
So the best way to pass the exam on the first try is to take my course, number one. um, just being honest, the way the study material is set up. So obviously that's a little pitch there, but the best way is to find what study method works best for you. Some people are really good at reading material and they're good at reading and memorizing it and going through the lists and vocabulary words and presentations and all that stuff. I have found that most people tend to be visual learners, where video depictions and videos are a little bit better for them to learn off of. And just hearing someone say it and illustrate it in some digital way or visual way on a whiteboard, or going through a guide and explaining how something works and providing real life examples for vocabulary lists and definitions that people can understand and picture in their head. I found that that's the best way for people to actually, in the general, for people to learn the material. So finding the medium that works best for you. I have a YouTube channel that covers that stuff, and also have some exclusive videos within the course where we have over 120 videos. I have people in some states who don't even read any of the material. Literally, they just go through and watch the videos, take the practice quizzes, and pass. And then the next part that leads into the next part is taking practice quizzes that are as close to the actual quiz and exam that you're going to encounter when you schedule your state. So every state either uses Pearson VUE, PSI, or Prometric as the exam vendor. Alabama and Kentucky are the only ones where the state's Department of Insurance or Department of Education actually administer the exam. Everyone else uses one of those three vendors. So you want to figure out what vendor your state uses, and you also want to figure out the style of questions for that vendor. And that's what we've done in our practice exams, is actually match all of our exams and quizzes to the exact style that state and state vendor use on their exams. And they're all a little different the way that they ask the question. So some of them may have scenario-based questions or more fill-in-the-blank style, or some say, like, which of the following is a characteristic of a whole life policy? And some might say, another vendor might say, which of the following is not a characteristic of a whole life policy? So it's important to get exposed to the style of questions you're going to encounter on test day. So I found that most of the courses out there, they really only cater to like one exam style, which is why some people go, oh, the questions weren't anything like that at all. And I don't hear that at all with the practice exams that we've created and put out there. So finding the medium that's best for you to study with, and then using practice quizzes and practice tests to go through. And we have over 10,000 questions for each state. So there's never people, they never get through them all. But those are really the best ways, and just try to get it done as much as possible. Understand all the key terms. It's a big vocabulary test. So that's my best tips there to pass.
Got it. So sounds like biggest thing is taking a bunch of practice exams, right? That
Mhm.
are not only, just exams about insurance, but they need to be related to whatever the vendor is that's in your state. Because you said they each kind of have different styles of tests. So you want to take something
Exactly.
that's going to mirror the exact state exam that you're actually going to be taking. So it's about practice exams, and then you also mentioned something at the end. It's just a big vocab test. That was something
Yeah.
that I really, I mean, it's been a couple years since I first took the exam, but I do have a pretty clear recollection of it. It's like Very much so. There's so much information. And for me, the easiest way to memorize and learn everything was basically doing flashcards. So what I would do is
Hmm.
I went through the course, and every time there was like a term or like a question, I would write it down on a flashcard. So like, yeah, I mean, when I was going through the test, like the biggest thing I remember is it was just a lot of like vocabulary words. So it'd be like, what is I don't know, surplus lines or something, right?
Hmm.
And then you have to match that with the exact definition, or it's a lot of like numbers or statistics. And what I found that personally was really helpful for me, I'll let you speak on this as well, is like anytime there was a number or a stat or date, just like writing that down and then
Hmm.
having a list of flashcards that you could go through just to memorize it. Seemed like it was very memory based.
Yeah, it is. And that's another way that someone learns too, right? A lot of times I'll tell people as they're going through the course, I don't say, "Hey, like take notes," because I tried to make it so people don't really have to take notes, but I'm a note taker. I learned by taking notes. So like when I went through my course, that's what I did. But some people get carried away where they'll like rewrite the whole thing. And like I want people to avoid that too. So like Tim's saying, like if there's anything like you don't get or like numbers or statistics or dates or something like that, acronyms are good to write down. Stuff like that is good. So for sure, that's definitely a great way to study. Whatever helps you memorize the words and in the terms. Like for instance, like WASH. So exclusions, you can remember it with I think WASH is the acronym. So it's like war, aviation, S. It's on my mind right now. I know it. I say this like every week, but and then H is hazardous hobbies or activities, right? So um, there's those things are suicide. So war, aviation, suicide, and then hazardous activities or hobbies. So those things are excluded from life insurance. So creating like some acronyms or like alliterations, like ways to memorize things that help you taking notes, and that's a definitely a great way to study because it really is a big vocabulary test. Like if you know all the definitions to all the words that are in the course, you're going to ace your exam. That's just like how, yeah, that's it.
Got it. So practice exams and really just getting the vocab down.
Mhm.
Um, what have you seen? Like, what's the most common, I guess, like what's the thing that you see in common with people who pass the exam versus people who don't? Like, what are the things that people who pass on the first try do? You said 90% pass on the first try versus 10% who don't. Someone's watching this and they're like, I want to make sure I am part of the 90%. What are the actions that those people take versus the people who don't pass on the first try?
So 90% of the people who pass on the first try go through the course as it's laid out. So there are plenty of people who finish who don't pass on their first try, right? There's more than 90%, but they don't follow directions. So if they're like, I don't want to read this, I'm just going to click through everything, or I'm just going to drag the video to the end, not watch it and skip. So when I see someone fail, I don't do this anymore, but I did it at first to analyze the data, and it was just so common that this is usually it. People just don't take the course. It's like, okay, I'm going to hire a personal trainer so I'm not fat, but I'm not going to follow the diet or his workout. So why are you still fat? You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing. Like I'm going to pay for this course, but I'm not going to study the way it's laid out or take the recommendation. So you're going to fail the test. Like that's just, pretty straightforward. So the biggest thing is like there's slideshow presentations. Most of the people who fail would just go and I'd see if it was a 45 slideshow, they spent a minute and 30 seconds in the slideshow. Or the vocab list, 15 pages, they spent 2 minutes and 27 seconds on the vocab list. It's like, okay, you scrolled up and down a few times and then moved on. So not 90% of the people who don't pass on their first try didn't do the course correctly. So if you go through your course and then take your practice exams, practice quizzes, and watch all the videos and the study guides and everything, 90% chance of passing. And I'm so common. If people finish and they don't pass with our course anyway, everybody's different, but I give them their money back. If they go through the whole thing as it's laid out and spend the time studying, then they don't pass, they get their money back.
Love it. Love it. For people that I know, obviously you have a whole pre-licensing exam company and whatnot. For
Yeah.
people that want to learn more about that, or maybe they're already in pre-licensing and they're watching this before they take the test,
Yeah.
what's the best way to get more help from you? I know you talked about the course a lot. Like where can they find more about that?
Yeah, they can just click the link in the description of the video. They can fill out a form, and they'll get some information about the different study tools and information and resources that are available. They can look on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube. Just search insurance exam, youtube.com/@insurance exam there as well. So we got some helpful videos on there. And anybody with practice exams or extra exclusive study guides and stuff, or the it's actually insurance exam prep. Sorry, so youtube.com. Oh no, insurance exam, not insurance exam prep. youtube.com/@insurance exam. That's our tag on my tag on YouTube for the channel. A lot of people who watch that channel, they haven't take they're already studying and they're looking for additional resources, right? And that was what prompted the creation me to like start creating these videos, because I was hiring so many agents. I was like, okay, these people aren't learning the material in this course. Now I have to go make my own thing. It's kind of crazy, right? It's like, okay, I have to go make an extra resource because this isn't providing enough. And then we have people watching the videos and they're actually like doing really, really well. And I was like, hey, let me like, maybe I can make this legit, make it into something official. So resources on there. You can click the link in the description of the video as well for some other stuff. So
Love it. Awesome. Well, Justin, appreciate the insight. And if you're watching this video, go ace that test. We'll see you soon.
awesome. Thank you, everybody.